But if I'm going to solve this system by graphing, I have to have them in graphing form, y equals mx plus b form. So that's the first thing we need to do. So I solve both of the equations for y. Now, there's good enough for Desmos, and there is good form. This is good enough to graph in Desmos, just like that. Better mathematical form would be to cancel the negatives, and negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. That is good form. That is good enough for Desmos. Let me remind you that when we are using Desmos, we need to be using the Texas version. So if you didn't bookmark that yesterday, would you please go to Google and type in Desmos Texas so that you will get this version. We need to be used to this version because that's the one we will use on the STAR test in May. So now I need to graph it in Desmos. In Desmos, you can type the y equals or not. And I'm going to divide it by negative 3. I need to arrow over so I'm out from under the fraction. Minus 3 divided by negative 3. And so that is the first line. The second line is negative 3x minus 10. If I graph it, if I type it incorrectly, am I going to get the right answer? Now, I don't particularly like the settings that I have here, so I'm going to change the setting. So over here where there is the wrench, I'm going to click on that, and I don't like to show the minor grid lines. But I do like to count by ones. The x-axis from 1 to 10, counting by ones. On the y-axis, I usually like to go from negative 8 to positive 8, counting by ones. This tells you your maximum and minimum on the x-axis, and this tells you what you're counting by. And so if you click projector mode, it can make it a little bit darker. It also changed my settings I just did. And so, okay, now what is it that we're looking for? When you're looking at two equations, you're looking for the intersection point. You don't have to type it in, but I can type it in, and then it puts a point right there at the intersection point. You can click this button to label it, or you don't have to. In order to solve this by graphing, we need to solve for y. So what are we going to do with this? To cancel this out, bring down your 28y. This one has an x and that one doesn't, so they just both come down. And then we divide by 28, we divide by 28, we divide by 28. This would not make very beautiful fractions, but this is good enough for Cami. Over here, I subtract x from both sides. Y equals negative x plus 7. Those are my two equations. Just set it down right there. Just sit down. And so, where's my... So back over here, negative 15x divided by 28, right arrow, plus 131 divided by 28. I cannot get the right answer unless I typed it in correctly. Did I type it in correctly? This one is negative 8 plus 7. I'm looking for the intersection point. That looks like it would be 5, 2.